Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Star Wars Out in the Dark stream. My name is Will, I'll be your storyteller this evening. And last we left off, we were missing Silas Winchester, we were missing Flid grilled, which left us with a very Force-centric episode as we touched in on where Silas Shakti has been and what has been happening with our Eedee 5-7 unit. We opened up on the farm as Dr. Shakti and their niece Akila were having a nice little moment. They had been shown around the farm. They had been given a guest quarters upstairs, which was on the same floor as Akila's room, which kind of made them the de facto grown-up in charge. It has been a week of idyllic kind of pastimes, family life, an actual bit of joy that hasn't kind of touched their lives in a long time. There hasn't been any nightmares, there hasn't been any voices, and it's been just kind of reminder of the life before. However, as things are prone to get much more interesting whenever there's a high, a pill-shaped droid showed up on the edge of the farm, with three kind of tentacle-like appendages coming out of it, and a red eye of a camera that was recording the two of them. After a moment, Akila was sent inside, and the droid kind of made its way to the edge of the farm, fired off a flare, and then was picked up by a Republic cruiser, a Republic shuttle. We cut over to find Eedee, where we left them standing in the room with Dome and Crow, their lightsabers ignited, a wash of green kind of covering the two of them. And he asked Eedee to help him with the darkness. And as things were becoming interesting, they received a data pad that had shown them that this pill-shaped droid, this Jedi Finder, had been summoned by Nella and had been used to kind of survey Dr. Shakti and Akila, who Eedee saw both showed an estimated MC count of at least 1,000. Dome and Crow also kind of revealed that they had dealt with Dr. Shakti before, and revealed that Nella and Silas had a past. Dome and Crow kind of led on about the dinner where the insurgents attacked, having had him become a kind of bodyguard to a previous senator, and where Silas Shakti kind of was somewhat responsible for the damage that had happened to their own brother. As they were kind of dealing with one thing, Doman also revealed that he had put in the paperwork to take on Eedee as his apprentice, which has given Eedee some food for thought. He gave them a shuttle that was assigned to them, so that they could kind of move around the planet at their request. And as they were about to leave, they requested that the Sulliston science officer that had aided them in being pulled out of the atrium be assigned to him. And we found out that this was Aim Bombaz. We jumped back to Dr. Shakti, who had a nice kind of conversation with their brother's wife, Dana, about possibly staying at the farm with them. But that conversation was cut short as an aether sprite landed not too far from the road leading to the farm. A cloaked figure with a modulated voice box kind of jumped down and approached them. And as the conversation turned from the Jedi wanting to take Silas and Aquila back to Coruscant for training, they revealed themselves to be Nella, and they had an entirely different kind of one-on-one interaction with some hard kind of truths being revealed among them, that Nella had already met Eedee and had given him what was supposed to be Silas's gift back at the night of the dinner. This, we know, is a kyber crystal, which is why Eedee now has a lightsaber that actually works. In their kind of opening to each other, Nella revealed that they hadn't stopped thinking about Silas, and they also apologized for not having been able to control the darkness that kind of has seeped into who is Nella's brother now, Silas. It was revealed that this is some kind of Sith spirit that has jumped from host to host, the previous host being Viklik Kiln, who had tried to teach Dr. Shakti at one point. It was also revealed that Doman Crow believes that with Eedee's help they can stop this for good. And as they were about to have quite possibly one of the touching moments between them, Eedee's shuttle came barreling down, and as one ship came down, the other left, with Nella kind of going to find her brother. Eedee showed off his new body to Dr. Shakti and also introduced them to Flid's wife, Aim Bombaz. They learned that Flid had gone off-world on a mission. They heard some stories about Flid's boys, and they learned some interesting things about Agent Nira Hayes and what has been happening in the gravitational pull of her bringing Aim Bombaz into this planet. They did learn that the Jedi would be coming for Aquila, and quite possibly Dr. Shakti. And it was revealed by Drox, Silas's brother, that the reason they are on this planet is because they've been hiding Aquila from the Jedi. That they've known about her abilities for some time, and Eedee himself saw firsthand just what she could do. But we learned something very life-altering towards the end of the episode, and we left off with both of them having reunited and half of the crew now being together. And this is where we'll pick up with 3 of our crew. Hello, everyone. Good to see your faces.
Ew.
I tried purposely not to reveal the big bomb of last episode.
Nice.
Because we do have Flid here, so I think it'll be more natural if it becomes apparent what we were talking about in game.
Good, because I haven't seen last episode either. So
yeah, well, I mean, you were told not to by Brandon, so
what's up? Keep it that way. Respect me.
Okay, now you don't have to respect them anymore.
Wow, you're gonna learn about D's.
Nope.
Nope. We're not gonna learn anything.
You're gonna learn about Kansas. That's what you're gonna learn.
Oh, I know about Kansas.
Oh God.
Oh, here we go. So, let's pick up with Flid first. As the darkness of space has permeated the Zatsek. You've successfully pulled out of the gas giant. You are with Beacon in tow, and Raceup and Sewa are trying their best to bring the ship online. It is just floating derelict, kind of on the same trajectory that you came out of the gas giant in. Jix has taken the opportunity to pull radio aside and is kind of scouring his memory for any other videos or sound files that Dolvin might have left for him. Auric has kind of become the ship's de facto lookout since he's in the turret, and he's kind of keeping an eye out to make sure that anyone that appears is given ample warning to the crew. And otherwise, Illis has kind of stayed in the cargo hold with the Beacon, having been the one to pull it in with the tractor beam. And so we find Flid alone, sitting in the cockpit of the Zatsek. What thoughts are going through your mind?
Oh, every thought is going on right now.
Start at one point and take us through them.
Yeah. Start thinking about mission being successful, but now is it really successful since we're here stranded in space in total darkness, no power? I start thinking about the original crew of this ship and how we came this point. Start thinking about Dr. Shakti, Eedee, Silas, our captain, which we have no idea what happened to our captain.
I mean, you're the captain now.
Now I'm the captain, but captain went missing. Before that, I start thinking about my boys. Start thinking about the image of seeing my wife.
Do you think Flid longs for the days of the Neverwhere, where he didn't have to deal with these kind of responsibilities?
Start thinking about things were simpler. Being just the chef of the crew, just cooking. New responsibility was make sure everybody had full stomach, were fed and happy. Then I always had the chance, the back of my mind, that I would see my family, and now that thought, that feeling is gone, knowing that my wife is with these people.
Where
Boys
where do
were
you
taken.
where do you think your life derailed? And would you use the word derailed?
Ever since I took that item,
Mm,
jewel, that piece.
yeah.
Ever since, it can be all traced back to that, because that right there is what kept me from my family, being on the run.
Did you leave that on the Neverwhere, or did you have it with you?
It with me. I always keep that in my data pad and snacks.
Uh,
In fact, speaking of snacks, I'm gonna
Yeah.
stress eat right now.
yeah. You reach into your pocket, you pull out some of the smaller kind of trail mix like rations that you have, and you hear the heavy footfalls of somebody running, and Illis just kind of stops at the doorway to the cockpit, heavy breathing. There is something you should see, Fleet.
What is it?
And he just turns and starts going back towards the lower section of the ship where the cargo bay is. And you follow him.
Barnaby?
He's around. You follow him down, And you see that there is this maybe 9 foot tall, 4 foot in diameter, or in radius rather, sorry. So it's an 8 foot diameter, kind of thick egg-like thing just kind of hovering in the cargo bay. It looks like it's seen some damage. There are burn marks across most of it. And it looks like it's been just beaten. And you're not sure if it's because of the time that it's spent at the heart of this gas giant, or if it's because of just something that might have happened to it before, or even during, because you don't know how long this thing has been there. But Ilis kind of looks at you and then gets down, squats down, and just kind of points at the space between it and the floor where it's hovering. I don't know what happened. It just started to float. I think it senses us.
Okay, one thing at a time. This is what I think it is. And that's supposed to do this? Is that supposed to float?
I've never seen something like this before. This is beacon-like, but I don't know. I was simply kind of admiring it. I was touching it, but I didn't feel anything kind of depress into it or anything like that. It just started to float.
Auric.
I think he is still in the turret.
Has he been in here? Has he touched this?
No one has been in here except me. And now you. Is this going to be a problem?
Put out my hand hesitantly. Slowly put it on top of it.
As you touch it, you see there's a kind of glow that comes from the outline of your hand. Lines of colored light shoot out from where your hands were, from where your fingers were. And after a moment, Ilis kind of steps away, and there's a quiet kind of prayer that he says in his language. And then the whole room suddenly is bathed in a kind of green light. There is this scattering of just laser light that shoots out, and slowly the cargo bay kind of vanishes as a whole hologram plays out for you. And excuse me, you see that you are looking at things in a kind of three-dimensional view based off of the camera point in this thing, in this beacon. And there is a body of what looks to be this red-skinned humanoid alien that has these 5 tendrils where his chin should be, that just kind of wrap almost like a goatee and come down to about just where the sternum would start. And there are these pointed, short ears on either side of his head. There is this kind of long black hair that is loose up until his shoulder, and then it kind of begins to braid down to a ponytail that comes down about halfway down his back. It is dressed in blacks and grays, and you notice that although you have video, you don't have sound. There's no sound coming out of anywhere. You can just are part of the interaction of what's happening. And in the distance, coming into view at the edge of this hologram, is what looks to be a Syrian male. Long, oblong head, kind of white and gray beard that comes up to his ears and down to about just where the neck kind of meets the body. He's wearing what looks to be Jedi robes from what you remember of the Republic base. And you see that in his hand he does have what looks to be the lightsaber from what you've seen of Eedee kind of holding his out. And after a moment you see the two of them kind of banter back and forth, and the red-skinned Jedi ignites a red-bladed lightsaber. The Syrian ignites a blue-bladed lightsaber, and you see the two of them kind of begin this very long and vicious lightsaber duel. And there is this dance, this very beautiful but very dangerous back and forth. You can see where all of the burn marks are on the beacon are where lightsabers have come in contact with it. And you can just see them all play out around you until the red-skinned alien and the Syrian both kind of have one last moment in front of each other, and then they both strike. Both of them fall simultaneously. And as the Syrian kind of coughs up blood and summons the last bit of his abilities, you can see the camera kind of start to shake. The view around you starts to kind of glitch out, and you can start seeing pieces of your ship again. You can see them past the holographic projection. And as the Syrian kind of pushes out with everything he has, the beacon skyrockets out of the atmosphere wherever you are. And as it does, you can see the gas giant getting closer and closer in the distance, and the image cuts abruptly. One of the last things you remember seeing, though, is as the red alien was also kind of coughing up blood, he would take it and draw something into the rocks around him. But you can't make out what it is, and the camera is glitching too hard for you to kind of really tell. But you know that this must have happened millennia ago. And as you kind of sit there with Illis, the beacon just hums casually, and it kind of descends onto 3 legs, 3 little triangular pods that come out and just hold it in place. And Illis just kind of falls back onto his butt, just in shock.
Did you see what I saw?
He nods.
Battle?
The top of the egg opens, excuse me, and a projection that's kind of cut off by the roof of this cargo bay kind of skews the image, but it looks like there's some old Arabesh writing. You're not sure if you're reading it correctly, but it is definitely a beacon of claiming. This is a claimed system. But the beacon is claiming it for the Sith Empire.
Oh, that's not good.
Mm.
Oh, what we have here is this is not good. It's not good at us. To keep this between us for now, momentarily.
Nods.
Nobody's to come in here except for you. Only you, myself. But then Barnaby in here so he can record this and the message and everything so we have a backup. Trust Barnaby. Nobody's to come in here.
I understand.
Do you have any suggestions, any ideas? Now's the time.
No, that hasn't existed in over 3,000 years.
I say I curse in my Palestinian tongue under my breath, like nod my head. Pat him on the shoulder. I'm like, figure this out. Go check on Saiwa and it's what how do you say it again, his name?
Race up.
Sup?
And as you step out of the threshold of the cargo bay into the hallway, all the lights on the ship come on. You can hear the hum as the engines come back. You can hear the life support kind of kicking in. The heat immediately starts to dissipate. And as everyone kind of screams for joy, you hear over the intercom, Auric.
Oh, don't do this.
I think that's the ship that I fired at over there. And as everybody kind of rushes back to their positions, we shift over to the planet where Eedee and Silas have come back together. Half of the crew sitting at dinner with Dana and Drox, their daughter Akila, Aim Bombas, Silas and Eedee, with an empty plate set in front of them, but the gesture is there. You also have an empty cup that's set in front of you.
Sweet.
But Drox kind of, as dinner becomes a little bit awkward, and he's about halfway done with his food, kind of looks over. So we've been running for a while. Kind of looks at Eedee. Is Is this gonna get us in trouble?
If by troubled you mean just running away in general, I don't believe so. No.
We were visited when she was about 3, and they were talking about how they wanted to give her a better life, as if we couldn't give her that life because we aren't Jedi apparently.
Hmm.
So, and you see kind of his hand slowly reach out, and his wife kind of grabs it. You can see them squeezing each other's hands. We went to my brother Ingo, our brother. He kind of motions to Dr. Shakti. He's a big to-do planet out on the edge of the mid-rim, outer rim border.
Mhm.
Lord Herrick, what it's called. He has connections to people, to I don't know. I didn't ask. Just I remember I called on him for a favor, and it was the last time that him and I talked. It was one of those things where it's him doing this for me, for us. Looks over at Aquila. It was something that his people didn't take kindly to. I've kept it a secret, and he kind of turns to look at Silas. He's like, I've kept this a secret from Trill and Zev, so I'd appreciate it if it kind of stayed that way. Tried to keep you out of this too. And you see, with his other hand, he kind of reaches out to you.
I reach out.
Sorry about this, Silas. I don't know who else
It's
to
okay.
turn to.
You have nothing to be sorry for.
Ingo, he runs a boxing club. I use the term very loosely. Ord Herrick is an old scrapper kind of repair depot that has kind of fallen into disrepair. Used to be big back in the old Republic days, back when, war was a big thing. Now with the peace, it's kind of fallen into this group's hands. There's daily and weekly kind of boxing matches, some lucrative prizes here and there, but there's a seasonal match. It's a gauntlet. Winner takes all. No holds barred. It's anything goes kind of slugfest. But the winner gets a private audience with Ingo himself. Everybody that's come out of that meeting has come out of there with, like, a bounty that could put an old Sith Lord to shame.
Are you asking for one of us to go into the match, or are you suggesting yourself?
No, I can't fight anymore. I don't think that you'll need to get yourselves involved in the fight. I'm hoping that if Ingo sees Silas, that he'll just kind of just bring them up for an audience. I mean, it's family. You don't turn your back on family. Yeah. I would recommend not going proudly wearing your Republic garb. They don't take too kindly the Republic over there.
Well, I mean, I'm in. I'll do it.
I have some money I can give you. I have a writ that the mining guild might pay handsomely for. There's a landing port on the other side of the planet. It's a kind of seedy spot, but the Republic kind of stays clear there as it belongs to the mining guild. So you might be able to find a ship to take you to Lord Herrick.
I mean, we are just waiting for our captain to return from his trip.
Oh, yeah, there's that too.
I presume when he returns with the beacon, we'll be able to presumably go there next.
Sure. We'll start packing then while you handle your business.
Could I see her with the doctor for a bit?
Keela?
The little, yes.
Sure, yeah. You see Drox and Dana go out into the living room. Aim kind of wiggles her ears nervously, and then she points outside at the back porch. She's like, I'll go stand out there. I could use the fresh air.
All right. You're more than welcome to watch if you need to, if you care.
No, it's okay, thank you. And she steps outside.
Hello.
Keela
How are you feeling this evening?
Keela looks up at you from her plate of half-eaten food. I'm okay. How are you?
Okay. I am also okay. How are you, Doctor?
I'm all right.
We are going to play a game. Do you like games?
Yeah, I like games.
Doctor, do you like games?
I love games.
All right. We're going to play a game. It's called CAS. Do you want to know what CAS stands for?
Is it like cats, but without a T?
Yes. We're going to play CAS. It stands for Control, Alter, and Sense.
This sounds like a dumb game.
It is not. It's very fun. Now, I'm going to do something, and then I want you to try and do it, all right?
Okay.
All right. I would like to use Alter
No, here we go.
to lift like one of like the pieces of food on her plate.
All right. Roll. Let's have you roll your altar.
4.
Good thing food doesn't weigh that much. A small piece of some steamed vegetable kind of starts to float up out of her plate. She kind of looks at
Okay.
it. Ooh,
Do you think you can do that?
I've never seen it do that.
I want you to think really hard
Uh-huh.
about the vegetable
Okay.
and it floating a little bit off the plate.
Does it have to be the same vegetable?
It can be any vegetable you want.
Okay.
If you can do a bigger vegetable, you get more points.
Well, I didn't know there were points.
Yes, I, for the size of my vegetable, have 1 point.
How many points does it take to win?
You need 10 points
Oh.
in each of the letters.
Oh.
And then if you get 10 points in one letter, you win that letter no matter what, and no one else can try.
Okay.
Yes. After you, the doctor will go. And then the next turn, the doctor goes first, and then you, and then me.
This game is complicated.
It is a little complicated, but I think you're old enough to do it.
This is not a game for kids. I can tell.
Probably not.
It's for big girls. Are you a big girl?
I mean, I am. Yeah, obviously. Can I have ice cream if I win?
Am I allowed
We'll
to
talk
make
to
this?
your mom about it.
Okay. I will, as a Jedi, I will ask your mother if you can have ice cream, and I will ask if I can have ice cream, and you can have the rest of mine, because I don't eat food.
Okay, that sounds like a deal.
All right, it's a deal.
And she sticks out her hand. She sticks out her hand to you like she's waiting for your handshake.
Are you thinking about the vegetable? Oh, I understand what's happening. And I lift my arm and shake it.
Okay.
I did not realize you were so educated in the bargaining.
Yeah. She sits on the edge of her seat and you see her kind of clap her hands together and start rubbing them and she's like, okay. Okay, so the more points I get. Okay. And she starts to think about the vegetable. And you see as she starts talking to herself and mentioning the vegetable name over and over again, you slowly see all of the vegetables of that type at the table just float up.
My head very slowly turns to the doctor. And then it very slowly turns back.
And she looks up at you. How many points is that? And as she says that, all of the vegetables just fall back onto the plates.
I'm going to be honest. It might be 10 unless the doctor can beat it. Because I think it's only fair that the doctor gets a turn. Do you think so, doctor?
I'll give it a try. Akila, that was very good. I don't know if I can beat you.
I'm incredibly shocked.
She kind of smiles and she crosses her hands. I don't think you can beat me, but okay.
Wow. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah. Let's see Dr. Shakti roll their altar.
All right. But
16.
Good number.
Oof.
ooh.
Ooh, boy. You see that you pick up almost all of the same vegetables that she had lifted up, but you're only missing like maybe 3 from your own plate. And you see
You
her
look at the doctor again.
You see her stand up on her seat. Wow, that's impressive. And then she points at the 3 you didn't pick up. Oh, but you didn't get all of them. I got all of them.
Doctor, she got all
Ah,
of them. All right.
I tried.
I'm going to say the points out loud, and we can all agree on it. I got 1 point. The doctor got 9 points. And
9
then you,
points.
Akila, got 10 points.
I
You
win.
beat me!
Yeah. And she starts doing a little dance on the chair.
Akila.
I got 10 points.
Yeah, you did.
Now do I get my ice cream?
Not yet. Well, I have a question. If you were to test someone on their control and sense, what would that test be? I didn't think this game through.
Yeah, it's up to you to decide how you want to test them.
What? Okay, so to jog our memory and for the viewers,
Sure.
what is the difference between control and sense?
Sense is a measure of your ability to kind of understand your surroundings, to sense the life around you, to sense people, to sense things, to sense states of being. Whereas control is a measure of your ability to kind of keep yourself in check, to kind of control your metabolism, to control the blood flow, to control your breathing, your concentration, things like that.
Okay.
That's the big difference.
Yeah.
I have an idea for sense if you would like help, assistance.
Heck yeah, I want help.
we could do like you have to name as many things in the room next to us without going into that room as you can, and whoever names the most, like for each item that you're able to name, you get a point.
Okay, that's a lot better than I was thinking. I was thinking of catching crickets and putting them in a jar and trying to see if you can guess how many crickets are in the jar using the force.
Either or.
Either or. Let's do the doctor's idea.
Yep.
Because I picked the last game.
Right.
All right. So the doctor, explain to Akila what the game is, and then you get to go first.
All right. So we are going to focus really, really hard and imagine what is in the room right next to us, the one that's right here on the right. Have any of us been in there today?
I've never been in there, period.
Have you been in there today, Akila?
Yeah, that's where mom and dad are.
Are there any rooms here that you haven't been in today?
I mean, no.
I have an idea. Do you think mom and dad are willing to move things out of the room and put them in a box and we can guess what's in the box?
Ooh, that's a great idea.
She kind of slumps down in her seat. This game doesn't sound interesting anymore.
Oh, I suppose it's only interesting if you can get all 10 points and get 3 cups of ice cream.
Whoa, does the winner get everyone's ice cream?
Yes. If you get the most points, you get everybody's ice cream. And so you don't want to let me win because I won't eat the ice cream.
And then we just have to watch it melt.
Yes.
That sounds mean.
Well, that's the game. I think you can win, though.
I mean, you're in the lead. You're in first place.
She looks around dubiously. I don't know. It could be anything in the box.
You just have to really think about it.
You see her kind of take her plate over, and she kind of scrapes the leftover food into the trash can, and she puts her plate in the sink. She's like, "No, I'm done." This isn't the game I like anymore. I'm gonna go to my room.
Oh man. I'm gonna have to eat all the ice cream by myself then because I'm the next winner. So if you forfeit, that means I win.
And you see her just kind of walk out of the room.
What?
Just
It's a normal thing for children.
a slow, kind of defeated walk.
Akila, you don't
I
want
would
to play
like
with us?
I would like to use sense on her.
What are you trying to sense off of her?
Essentially, I guess it's I want to like get a vibe check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll your sense.
Okay. I'm rolling bad tonight.
Let me see what powers you have. Oh no.
I have life detection and life sense.
Yeah, so it'll be life sense.
Life
Okay.
sense, aka vibe check.
Vibe check, yeah. You stretch out with the force, and as you start to probe to see what the vibe is like coming off of her, excuse me, you feel this wall come up. And it just kind of blocks your probe. You just feel a little bit of coldness coming from her. Just a very light coldness.
He's very in tune. The training could be good for her. However, I don't think it's a decision that can be made at this point. There are strong attachments to her family that I don't think this could be undone.
I mean, she's so young. Is that typical?
To be so strong with it?
To be taken away for training at that age. I mean, I was much older.
Um, I've seen. Because how old is she?
She's 8 or 9.
8 or 9.
Yep.
I've seen humanoids around her age. It's they're more exploratory courses, I would say, that then lead into more or less strict training, as you know. But I've not seen one her age exhibit such control.
I have concerns that the academy is not what it was.
You are the closest to knowing its modern ideals. It is. I fear it is nothing as what it was when I was there. Um,
I mean, my trainer, you know who he was, so if that's any indication.
we are more closely knit than we would believe. I have a feeling she has a purpose laid out for her, and I don't believe it is going to be on a farm, and that is slightly worrying. Um, honestly, if it were up to me, we could attempt to help her figure it out, but I believe I am incredibly out of touch, and both of us have not completed any real form of training.
Right. I wouldn't want to disservice her by taking on something that I don't have the capacity to fully take on.
We're offered an apprenticeship by Doman Crow.
I was offered an apprenticeship by the Jedi currently on planet.
Congratulations. Are you going to take it?
I don't think so.
Why?
What is your thought on the idea of fate and destiny?
I think when you have the sense of it, you have a responsibility to follow it.
Do you remember the small piece of me that we lost back on the Neverwinter?
Everywhere.
Yes.
No, the
Neverwhere.
Neverwhere.
Hmm?
We've only shut the matters to Zach. I am coming to the realization that my destiny lies with that part of me. That we are intertwined to see the other to their end. It is my fault that they feel the way they do, and I will either die from their hand or I will show them their ways, be it through their own destruction or mine. I believe that it is that. I suspect that if it were not for me appearing on the Neverwhere, Doman Crow would not have appeared in orbit of the ship. You, I, Flid, and Silas would not have become further twined on Bespin through the murder of another Jedi. And then, in turn, bringing a man to become entwined with something that he had no idea of.
That wasn't you that did that, Eedee. That was me.
If I never showed up, he never would have died on Bespin. There would have been no Jedi to solve a murder for. You, the three of you, never would have been incarcerated. These are the various things that weigh on me as someone who is not privy to sleep. I talk of this with Barnaby, and myself. I'm big on conversation, if that is not already prevalent. Eons of conversation lived in my hive, and then being split off just leaves a lot of self-thought.
I can only imagine.
There's a moment where you start to wonder if maybe you've let in the cold that Aquila kind of feeling at the disillusionment of this game you created for her. And you start to kind of worry that if that's the case, that she's a lot stronger than the probe kind of measured. And as you sit there in the empty kitchen with just you and Dr. Shakti, we shift back to a Zatsek that is rocketing through the cosmos, trying to make its way back to the planet where everybody else is. What is everybody up to on the ship? Jix has kind of come back into the pilot seat. Ilis is back at the gunners. You can hear the heavy shots of the turret kind of blasting away. The ship is rocking as it takes a hit. And Jix kind of just is pointing at the side console. Ship needs shields. Shields need to be raised.
Radio, get them shields up.
You hear
Shields up, radio.
you hear him beeping, and he kind of goes over and interfaces.
All right, I sit in the navigation.
Yep.
Jigs, do your best to pilot. I start setting in the coordinates.
Jix is flying. Jix is flying.
All right.
Jix needs to micro jump.
I'm gonna set up the coordinates to the planet of
Yep.
home. Farm.
Let's have you
Or-
roll your
Auric,
astrogation
keep
sense.
firing. Keep firing, Auric.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Astrogation sense.
Yep. Because you've been to the planet before. 24. Hot
Yeah.
damn. Hot night in the city today.
Because I wanted some ice cream.
Yeah, right?
There's a lot of that's a lot of ice cream going to waste over there on that other side.
You just gotta float some fruit and then you'll get some ice cream.
Yeah, my ship is floating. It was.
That counts. You hear the shields come to life. Radio kind of beeps triumphantly. The ship rocks as it takes a central hit to the actual shields. And you hear Jix kind of laugh. And there's a moment where you finish putting in the coordinates and you just see him kind of see the green light pop up on his screen, and he, without thinking, just kind of rushes over and his left hand just grabs all 4 of the rods and just pushes them forward, and you see the familiar blue tunnel just suddenly encompass the ship. It is a quick kind of 45 seconds, almost a minute and a half of a blue tunnel, and then you just pop out and the planet just comes rocketing towards you. And Jix just kind of starts to cheer. Ilis kind of pats you on the shoulder. And he kind of looks at you. This was very dangerous, but we did it. I believe we actually did it.
Not celebrating just yet. Auric, keep an eye. Make sure they didn't follow us.
You got it.
Is Barnaby in the cockpit with us?
Yeah, he's standing right next to you.
Hey, buddy. I didn't need you to follow Ellis back to the cargo.
He
I'll tell
nods.
you what to do. He'll tell you what to do. And I look at Ellis. Nod.
And he kind of looks down. Okay, little guy, let's go. And Barnaby kind of nods at him, and they both walk out of the cockpit towards the cargo bay.
How are we with shields?
Radio beeps and boops, and Jix kind of looks at you. Radio says that we have 56%.
All right. Meantime, let's get some repairs going on. Damage to the ship, shields. Everybody else is okay. Port.
You hear the comms come to life, and you hear race up. We're good back here. We're a little rocked, but I think we can get the shields back up and running full percent. If anything, we can just land at the Republic base, and they'll take care of it for us. I might have a friend or two working. I can pull some strings.
Let's go back to the farm.
All right, if you're sure.
We're heading back to the farm and discuss certain things that need to be said.
Sure. Yeah. And you come into the atmosphere near the Jix farmstead, and Jix looks over at you. Jix is going to park over there, just outside the field.
Problem, Jigs. No problem.
And sure enough, you see that as he kind of slowly hovers around the farmhouse itself, you see Krilla and Hattie kind of standing outside, and they're waving, happy. You see them both kind of hugging each other. Clearly, they're ecstatic that you have survived. And as Jix brings the craft down, there's a moment where everybody's kind of coming together in the communal area. And you see Race Up kind of wipe his brow, put his handkerchief in his pocket. We actually did it, huh? What's the thing look like? Can we see?
What? Think you guys should look at it, see what you guys working so hard for. And something should be said as well, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, without a second thought, Auric just goes running down the stairs into the cargo hold.
Don't touch anything.
Excuse me. Sewa kind of looks at you for a moment, then she kind of nods and just starts making her way downstairs. Race Up comes over, slaps you on the shoulder, just like, there was a moment there where I thought we weren't going to make it, and I kind of regretted not having come over here with that droid of yours.
Just nod my head and tap him on the shoulder as well. And
I get to see my wife again. And you see him just kind of smile and make his way downstairs.
or I grab him by the shoulder before he goes.
Yeah.
And turn him around. See your wife. We're the biggest. I do mean the biggest hug you have ever given her in your life.
He laughs. He's like, "You better believe it, brother." And
Give her that big hug.
he claps your shoulder one more time. "You did it, man. You did it." He goes downstairs.
We did it.
Jix kind of walks past you, kind of gives you a nod. And then you just see Radio kind of come over, spin in place. A small, kind of 3-digit hand comes out of one of his side pockets, and it just kind of curls itself up into a thumbs up.
Thumbs up, bud. Thumbs up, buddy.
And he just goes back into the cockpit.
Oh, wow. Wow. I don't know how much I could have held that on.
Yeah. Downstairs, everybody's just kind of abuzz with excitement, fear, anxiety. Auric kind of looks at you. He's like, "Is this correct? Is this what I think it is?" And you can see that Race Up is the only one there that has a worried look on his face.
This is it. They can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still broadcasting against the roof.
This is what needed to be discussed.
Say what kind of looks over at you. I mean, this can't be as bad as we think it is. Like, this just means that it defaults to the Jedi. The Jedi have claim to this planet. It means that they'll do what's right by us, right? They have to.
I hope so. I know a Jedi or two of the crew.
Race Up kind of steps over to it. If the Jedi have claim to this planet, then we're in no better position than we were when we started this expedition. They're just gonna obey the senatorial kind of leash holder and give it to whoever they think is gonna be best. That means that we're out of luck.
For now, this does not leave this cargo room.
Or it kind of
Cargo bay.
steps up and he's like, we could destroy it. We're the only ones that's seen it.
Said I want my Jedi friends have a look at it first. Jedis you can trust. He said has met one of them.
Or it kind of goes over, excuse me, lowers the ramp, and he's just like, must be nice to have a Jedi you can trust. I don't know what that's like. And you see him just start to descend.
This was Barnaby able to do what he needed to do?
Illis kind of nods. He has interfaced with it. I don't know if that is what you expected or wanted. So
It done, Barnaby?
he pulls his finger free of the interface and he kind of nods at you.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
But everybody slowly starts to walk off the ship. And you can
Stay on the
see
ship.
that there's a weight that's been placed on all of them.
I just have nothing but highs and lows being a captain. Highs and lows. I remember things were so much easier as a chef. Just cook and
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
you know what I gotta do. Me 3 minutes. Who said that to me about the? He's the one who wears the crown.
No, that was just me waxing
Okay.
waxing poetically.
I thought that might have been Illis.
No.
Is he still around?
He's outside. He's at the bottom of the ramp. Everybody else is kind of already shifted over to Jix's farm. Like they started to walk towards Jix's farm.
Tell Barnaby and radio, get everybody back here. 30 minutes. Right, guys? I go into the kitchen and I start getting to the routine of things, all the spices, all the rations, all the food and everything. I'm gonna cook meal, boost their spirits up again.
Yep.
That nice meal. I'm sure nobody has had a good hearty meal in a while, so this will be good to
Yeah.
boost our morale and our spirits.
You start to set the plates at the table.
So,
You go through everything, and at the half-hour mark, almost like clockwork, you see radio just kind of roll by you as you're in the kitchen, and this makes its way to the cockpit to send out the communications. It is nighttime now by the time you're done with dinner. Although you were just out in the blackness of space, the view from the planet with a little bit of cloud cover on this kind of clear night, giving you view of the stars that you were just kind of running past as you were trying to avoid the Fane's rise. It's given you a new perspective almost. The food is just, the scent of the food have just permeated through the ship. There's no corner of the ship that does not smell of what you are cooking tonight. And although the utensils are cold to the touch, just putting them in their place, kind of setting the plates, setting everything in the middle of the table fills you with a warmness that you haven't felt in a while, probably since before Bespin. And radio rolls back in, beeps, and whirs triumphantly at you, and then kind of goes over and just stands stoically by the hallway leading to the cockpit. All of the crew that are privy to the Zotsec kind of radio band have been alerted that dinner is served. All of the crew.
So we got a notification?
Yep.
Yay! Yay!
Radio has
Radio.
sent a signal to all the crew of the Zotsec.
Oh.
Captain Flid Grilled has cooked dinner.
Original and temporary.
Doctor,
Yes?
are you hungry?
For the first time in a long time. I sure am.
Can you ask your brother if we can get a ride?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the two of you take off for Jix's farm.
And we take AIM with us.
Okay.
Didn't happen. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's bring Akila ice cream before we go.
Sure.
Can I bring her ice cream and bring it inside a different bag, like a bag that usually has like laundry or clothes or something, and make her like guess what's in there?
Sure. If you walk up to her room, you'll see that she's kind of looking on her data pad at what looks to be some version of not a kids show, but like a kind of play for children. And she pauses it as you walk in. She kind of looks over at the bag. She's like, "Is this another one of those games?"
It's a treat for you.
That's a laundry bag. Like I don't want to do laundry.
Are you sure? I thought that you loved doing chores.
No,
Don't?
I just do them so that my mom won't yell at me.
Oh. You sure that what's in there is laundry?
Yeah, that's the laundry bag.
Yeah, but are you sure that what's in there is laundry?
I mean, why? What else would you put inside the laundry bag?
I don't know. Sometimes things aren't what they seem, though.
Like the droid downstairs?
Yes, just like the droid downstairs.
He's sad.
I think he might be a little sad right now.
Yeah. He misses his home.
He does?
Yeah. You don't hear
Did
it?
you know- What, Akila?
He's crying.
He's crying all the time?
Inside, he's crying. Yeah.
Wow,
It makes me sad.
I understand. It's a very special skill that you have, Akila.
That's what my daddy says.
He's right.
That's why we left. Uncle Trill, Uncle Zev.
Mm.
And Uncle Ingo. I miss them. Makes me sad, like your friend Eedee.
Are you crying inside too?
No. Daddy says it doesn't help to cry. Crying doesn't do anything to change the events of why you're sad.
It's true, but sometimes it can feel a little better to cry a little bit.
Is that why Eedee's crying?
I don't know why Eedee's crying. I haven't asked him.
We should give him ice cream.
We should give them ice cream. Hey, if there was some ice cream and it was in a really weird place, where would it be?
The bread box, probably.
The bread box. That's a good guess. Can you think harder? Can you focus really hard and think again?
You see her kind of put her hands on her temples and like start to rub it. She's like, you could put it in a flower pot.
If you were to feel for some ice cream right now, imagine that you could feel ice cream in the air. Where would it be?
Are you tricking her into a sense roll?
She kind of looks around. She's like, maybe in my dad's backpack.
Yeah, do you feel ice cream in your dad's backpack?
No,
Or are you just guessing that?
he wouldn't like that.
No?
He's got his tools in there.
Oh, that's not a good place for ice cream.
Oh, they get all sticky.
What if you close your eyes and you just pretend that there's ice cream around you and you try to feel where it's the most strong?
I mean, she closes her eyes and she just holds out her hand. It's like, it would be in my hand.
But it's not in your hand, so where else could it be?
She opens her eyes and she's just like, I don't know. Like I've named all the places I would hide ice cream.
I don't want you to think of somewhere where you would hide ice cream. I want you to just feel where the ice cream is.
That's kind of gross. Like you shouldn't put your hand inside ice cream. Then your hand gets all sticky and cold.
You know how when you're sad, it's called a feeling?
No.
You're feeling sad?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're feeling happy?
Sure.
Are you feeling happy with your hands or with your heart and your body?
No, you can't feel happy with your hands. Happy isn't physical.
So imagine that the ice cream isn't physical.
Then it's not ice cream. Is this like ghost
What is
ice cream?
Yeah, it's just like ghost ice cream. Can you imagine where the ghost ice cream would be?
Could be anywhere.
Hmm.
Could be on the
You have to
roof.
feel it, like you feel a feeling inside.
You see her kind of get off the bed and she starts extending her hands outward. She's like, it could be on the windowsill. It could be on the tree outside. It could be anywhere. Ghost ice cream.
Hmm?
You can go through things. You can be in the wall between rooms. You could be in
Wow.
the dresser.
Is it? You feel it over there?
You see her start opening her drawers.
Wait, don't open anything. Just feel it with your.
There's no ice cream in here.
Where could it be?
You see her run past you and go downstairs.
Okay, I'm gonna take it out. I'm giving up on this lesson. I'm gonna take it out of the bag, and I'm just gonna
Yeah.
have it behind my back, and I'm gonna go down to her.
Eedee sees Aquila come rushing into the kitchen. She grabs one of the chairs and just slides it over to the refrigerator, and you see her climb up and open the freezer. She turns over to you. She's like,
Oh?
"Have you ever had ghost ice cream?"
I've never had ice cream.
Oh, here, this might make you not sad then. And she pulls out 2 spoons from the drawer and she comes over with a little bucket of ice cream and she hands one to you.
Oh.
And then she digs in and she kind of pulls out a spoonful and she kind of just shoves it in her mouth.
Down and then back up at her. And then the spoon in my hand and then back down and up at her and go, I don't think we've thought this through.
You can just rub it against yourself.
Oh. Do you want me to take a real scoop? I don't want to waste your ice cream.
Oh, she's giving you a full spoonful of.
Oh, and
of
just
ice
like
cream.
pushing it up against the mouth?
No, she just put it in your hand.
Oh. Oh, okay. Dunk.
She's like, no. You have to rub it against yourself. And she kind of points at the center of your chassis.
Can you keep it a secret?
Yeah.
I unhook it.
Okay.
And open.
Yeah.
And just
And Dr. Shakti walks in on this. Just see him rubbing ice cream against his crystal. And Aquila just has a mouthful of ice cream.
This is very interesting.
You can feel the coldness of the ice cream.
It is freezing.
Yeah.
I've never felt something so cold.
Yeah. And there's a moment where some of the ice cream actually looks like it's evaporating off of the crystal, but it is actually being ingested. It is being absorbed by the crystal itself. And for the first time, your shard has experienced ice cream.
I don't even know how to describe taste for someone who's never known taste.
Yeah. Alien. It feels wrong, and yet there's something right about it. And you feel, kind of look down and you see her put her hand on top of your droid hand, like on the forearm, and she just kind of looks up, she pulls the spoon out of her mouth. This will make you not sad anymore. It always makes me not sad. She kind of jams the spoon in her mouth again.
I don't think he talks. I think he just thinks.
Hila, did you get that ice cream all by yourself?
Yeah. I used the chair.
Yeah. Did you get permission from your mom or from me?
She kind of looks and she slinks down in the chair. I was just trying to make Eedee not sad.
Understand, and that is very admirable, my friend.
And she kind of looks up at you. She pulls the empty spoon out of her mouth and kind of lays it on the table. She's like, it worked though. He stopped crying. You see her kind of just rubbing the forearm of the droid. He's not sad anymore.
Look at Eedee.
Lights are on, but nobody's home.
Yeah. You see, she goes over, she puts the ice cream back in the freezer, she grabs a towel off the counter, she moistens it at the sink, and she kind of comes over and she puts the moist end in Eedee's hand. And she's like, I know you don't like to be touched, so you can clean yourself. She starts to walk out and she stops and she's like, I'm gonna go back upstairs to my room. I think the ice cream you were trying to hide from me is melted. And she kind of just walks away.
Keela, you are a very smart little girl. You know that?
And you just hear her skipping up the steps.
I clean myself up and I'm just gonna walk outside with aim.
Okay. And she kind of has been sitting on a rocking chair just looking out. And she sees you as you walk out, she kind of stands back up. It's like, all right, are we finished here?
I extend my hand out. I know someone has landed. Would you care to go with me to see him?
You see her straighten out her uniform. And she just kind of has this smile on her face. Is it him?
It is.
Is he here?
He's made dinner.
I haven't eaten one of his meals in so long.
Let us walk together towards him, and you can tell me more about these meals. I think the doctor will bring a ship, a vehicle our way.
Yeah. And sure enough, Drox lets you borrow his truck, his repulsor lift sled. And you make your way over to Jix's farm. And sure enough, you see the Zotsek sitting there at the edge of the field. There is the sound of, excuse me, this jubilation. You can hear voices as you come up the ramp. But the festivities are a little strange, given that you walk up the ramp of this cargo containment to see this large egg shape that is just projecting this kind of red and green holographic image of writing against the roof of the cargo hold. And it takes some time for Dr. Shakti to kind of translate the old Arabesh, but Eedee is familiar with the dialect, and it sees that it reads, "This system is the property of the Sith Empire."
Oh no.
Like out of game question. What does system mean? Like
The
it itself?
like the Milky Way that we're in,
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question real quick, like personal timeline wise. I was alive for the Sith Wars. Yeah?
No.
No. But it happened. I became a Jedi and then I went missing.
No. The Sith Jedi War
In between?
has not. That was 3,000 years ago.
Okay, so this is a 3,000-year-old like thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
that's why I was getting confused. Okay.
The name of the claimant, the one that found the system, is Forian Garms.
Can I do a scholar check for that?
Sure, you sure can.
Can I use a character point
I mean, you can call it after the roll.
after the roll? Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to do it before.
So it's force point before, character point after.
Yeah, force point
Okay.
before, and then you can only use up to 2 character points on any given roll that isn't a soak roll.
Okay, that's 11.
Yep.
Um,
And you can only use up to 2.
yeah. I think I'm gonna do 2.
Okay.
Oh,
Another 11. That's nice.
oh, real nice.
22 total. You remember in your time at the library, as you were kind of researching lineages and where certain Sith lords kind of came into power and lost power, and the whole kind of everything leading up to Darth Bane and the Rule of Two. You remember reading about Forian Garms and how he called himself Darth Zavot. He was, like all Sith at one point, just laser focused on trying to not just cheat death, but kind of ensure that his legacy would be something that would be eternal. And as you read his name and you kind of remember, there's just a pit that opens up in your stomach, if you could have a stomach. And you remember that he came around towards the end of what would have been the Freedom Nad uprising, towards the end of Ulick and Keiko Drama's time period, towards the end of Nomi Sunrider's time period. This, by all accounts, is a Jedi artifact. It's one of the last remaining beacons that shows not only that the Sith Empire was expanding, but that it had Sith Lords out there looking, actively claiming systems. That these people weren't just conquerors, they were explorers.
That makes the material found on this planet much more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Easily.
I'm just walking right to Flid,
Okay.
wherever he is.
Okay. You go upstairs. She kind of stands there looking at it for a moment. And then once you start moving, she kind of starts to follow you. And as you come up, you see that there's a table laid out. Flid is standing or sitting at the head of the table. Raceup is sitting at the table. Jix is sitting at the table. Illis is sitting at the table. And there's 2 people that you don't recognize. 2 humans. Fraternal twins. and they kind of see you as you come up. They see Dr. Shakti follow in your footsteps, and for the first time in a long time, Flid, you see what looks to be a protocol droid with Praetorian plating separating the wires underneath, so it's kind of armored but also very simplistic in its design. It has Jedi robes. You can see Dr. Shakti behind it, and as they come up and you are reunited, although you don't know that it's Eedee, behind them you just see the kind of trail of braided hair at the top of this noggin, the curled ears, and just the large watering eyes of your wife, Aim. And she just kind of brings her hands up to her mouth. And she's full on crying at this point.
Ears. I wiggle my ears,
Yeah.
take off my beanie, and I'm like, slowly make my way towards them.
You see that she kind of slides past Eedee and Dr. Shakti. Her right hand just kind of comes up, almost like a docking bay for your face, as she steps closer to you. And the moment her hand touches your face, everything just bursts inside of you.
Just close my eyes and drop my knees, and my arms hug her. I just cry.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can feel her kind of shaking as you can hear her kind of quiet sobbing, and she just wraps her hands around your head and just kind of holds you close to her.
My heart, I'm so sorry.
And you just hear Auric. Who are these guys?
I don't pay attention to that fool right now. Okay, I'm just hugging.
Yeah. He's just pointing
heart.
He's just pointing at Eedee and Dr. Shakti.
Hello, I'm Dr. Shakti.
Kind of, he waves his hand. I guess. And the female next to him pulls him back down onto his seat. And she's like, "You'll have to forgive my brother. I'm Sewa. He's Auric. That's Race Up. That's Illis. That's Jix." And Jix kind of stands up. Jix knows them. And he kind of points at Dr. Shakti. Jix does not know them, and he points at Eedee. And he points at Aim. You can see that Hattie and Krilla are also there eating. The only one missing is Silas. And as the crew is reunited for the first time since everything just went bananas, this is where we'll wrap up today's session. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight, and as always, please, if you haven't, get yourselves vaccinated. If you feel like you still need to, please continue to wear your masks in public. Please continue to keep your distance. Please continue to wash your hands. And as always, if you are watching live on Twitch, there are some phone numbers that will be going up in the chat in case you need any kind of help, because mental health is something we take seriously on this channel. And if you feel like you need help, you should be able to have the resources to kind of reach out and ask for it. If you are somebody that is a strong personality or is usually happy-go-lucky, or has friends that are strong personalities and are happy-go-lucky, please check in on them. Check in on your other friends. Check in on everyone. because a simple hello or a how are you can really change the trajectory of somebody's life. And it's important to just kind of check in and touch base and make sure that everybody's doing okay and that you yourself are doing okay. And as always, tomorrow we have a special one-shot on the channel of Werewolf the Wild West, where you will see Flid in a much different role. And then also tomorrow night, I will be starting a 4-part mini-series on McStabber Studios. That is twitch.tv/McStabber of Mage the Ascension 2nd edition, set in 1984 Miami, Florida. But otherwise, I will see you on Monday for our Camarilla chapter of Vampire the Masquerade, or I will see you on Wednesday for our Legend of the Five Rings story, or if not, I will see you next Friday when we continue our Star Wars Out in the Dark story. And until then, be safe and take care of each other.